You'll see right there. Check your headset. Let's go.
Okay, let's do this. What's that? Hey.
You're back on the hot seat, man. The boss hole.
And it's time to start the show. We're a little late, but we're going to get it started. At this time, I'd like to introduce our guest, Stephen Thomas, the president of the Central State Alumni Chapter here in the ATL. Stephen, say hello to our listening audience.
Hello, listening audience.
So, Stephen, you got here late, but that's okay. We're glad to have you, man. We're glad you participated in the Black History Parade. And we're happy that you're doing some things in the community, and I spoke on you before you got here, that you're trying to get more brothers in college than in prison, and that's honorable in itself. So, what does it mean being president of the Central State Alumni? What does that mean?
Well, Brother Tuck, first of all, thank you for having me here today. I'm extremely honored, and it is very, very important that we get these brothers in school. And get them out of the prison system. It seems like we got more of them in the prison system than we have in the school system.
That's what the statistics say.
And me and you, Brother Tuck, would not be here if it wasn't for Central State University.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I totally agree.
And so for that, serving as the president is a badge of honor for me because I believe in reaching back and helping those that are less fortunate, or for those who lack the ambition and drive. Maybe there's something we can say in sharing our experience that will push them to go to school.
And that's what's up, man. But don't you think it's a struggle? I mean, you got a lot of weight on your shoulders to be able to pull that off. You know that, right?
Yes, sir. The fight is never over. When I think about Dr. King and all of those that came before us, those who fought, lost limbs, and lost lives, for us to have these opportunities.
But the young people don't identify with all that. So they don't know the struggles of what we went through. So everything is taken for granted. So how do you reach the kids? What is one of your methods? Just tell me one of your methods in reaching these kids.
One of our main methods through the Central State Alumni is, of course, to go throughout the metro Atlanta area and throughout the Southeast and doing college fairs, speaking to the high school students, as well as creating collaborations with the school counselors so that they continue to push Central State University and all the HBCUs and let these kids know that they do have a chance.
Bam, I'm going to give you the opportunity to invite Stephen Thompson and Central State Alumni to our next gig.
Why you can't invite me?
I got to pull you in the conversation. You ain't saying nothing.
No, I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to get it all together.
But anyway.
You are invited to we have a program March 15th, West End Mall, so you can speak to the youth of Atlanta out there from 1 to 4, Saturday, March.
It's going to be a
Saturday, March 15th.
Urban Media All-Star Show.
So that'll be a good stage for you.
From 1 to 4.
From 1 to 4 on March the 15th.
That's a Saturday.
Yes.
Okay,
from 1 to 4.
For all my Centralians out there that might be tuned into the radio today, we ask that you check your calendars for March 15th. Again, Central State Alumni Chapter has been asked to show up and show out and do what we do, which is recruit students and make students see something in themselves that maybe they just can't see.
And believe it or not, we draw a little crowd when we have these shows, and we'll probably have about 30 youth acts performing at the West End Mall on the main stage from 1 to 4.
So when was Central State founded?
Central State was founded in 1877.
Wow.
Now, Wilberforce was the first that opened up all the doors to all the...
Central State is a derivative of Wilberforce University. Central State broke away, and it was Central State College, and then it became Central State University. So it is a direct derivative of Wilberforce University.
My first time was hearing it when you said you went. I'm like, I didn't know. I was unaware that they had, other than in Virginia or whatever, they had black colleges.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't know that. I was like, whoa. I thought all the schools is down south. I didn't know that.
Well, actually, Central State in Wilberforce was one of the first 2 or 3 black HBCUs, because as you recall, in the South, they weren't allowed to learn too much.
Yeah.
So they had to take the universities up north. And
I
Central
don't
State
think they
Wilberforce,
still learning too much in the South, but I'm with you. So, as the president, and you're going around from school to school and talking to many people, and I hate to say I haven't been involved in anything, and shame on me, but you guys meet. How often do you meet with the?
We meet every other month. We have a meeting, and at that meeting, we kind of set our agenda in terms of our social programs, our scholarship raising programs. As a matter of fact, we've got here in April, we've got an event coming up, which is with Comcast, in which we partner with them. And we pick a local school or whatever Comcast is doing. It's called Comcast Cares. And Central State University Alumni Association is a big part of that. It's a major fundraising opportunity for the chapter. So we gather up volunteers and we go around and we clean up the miscellaneous schools in the inner city of Atlanta.
Okay, that's what's up. I guess I'm clueless, period. But I was clueless to what the alumni fund. I knew the alumni worked on scholarships, but I didn't know the vehicle that you use in order to make these things possible.
Well, Skip, since I've become president, one of the main things that I'd like to do, and that I'm politicking to do within the chapter, and we have won a unanimous vote, that is to make the Atlanta chapter its own separate nonprofit, all unto itself. And the purpose behind this, Skip, as you know, is that to be able to ask for corporate donors, sponsors, and as well as some of that corporate money that's out there. So we're in the process of creating and making the Atlanta Central State University Alumni Chapter its own nonprofit. And hopefully we can get some of these local sponsors, Coca-Cola, Target, Georgia Power, Southern Company, and some of these other great companies to partner with us so that we can create a nice size scholarship endowment for the students.
Bam and I have a young man that we've had the pleasure of working with who created his own scholarship at Ohio State University. Young man, 24 maybe, him and his buddy decided to create a scholarship, and they created their own minority scholarship. And so now they sit on the scholarship board at Ohio State, and they're said to be the youngest African Americans to sit on that scholarship board. And I guess it wasn't as hard as they anticipated, but they got it done with a vision.
Yeah. With that being said, we have a lot of Centralians here in the metro Atlanta area, and a lot of them that are not active and that don't participate in the chapter. Right now, if you are listening to this radio station and this program, I want to ask you to please come out, join the Central State University Alumni Chapter, pay your dues, let's get involved. Most importantly, let's save some lives, because literally for every kid we send to school, male or female, in some cases we literally could be saving a life.
So how many do you think you have in Atlanta, Central State alumni?
I would say probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 300 people we have here. And on an average monthly meeting, we might have 20 people that come to the meeting.
I'm guilty. Now let me ask you this, and this may be a tough question. Now, the money you generate, what is the footprint of that money? How do you know the footprint of that money?
The footprint of that money is pretty clear, Skip. Nobody has an agenda. Nobody makes anything. Every volunteer within the Central State University Alumni Chapter is there because of their passion and love for the university. So probably at this point, Skip, I'm proud to say that probably 90% of the money that's gathered through Central State Alumni goes to some student that's matriculating at that university, and that student came from the state of Georgia.
Now, here we go. So how do we get past stereotypes of what HBCU alumni administration do with the funds? How do we get past that? Because there's a stereotype that the money is always messed up and we don't we don't do well with our books, and what is it?
We're going to start with this particular chapter right here. As president, I don't have any agenda. I'm a pretty successful businessman myself, so I don't have any need to require or take any money from the alumni. As a matter of fact,
no, I'm not accusing you of
yeah.
that, but I'm just going with the.
No, and I know you're not. I'm just simply saying, and none of the people that I work with right now in the Alumni Association has a hidden agenda. Everybody wants to increase our scholarship endowment so we can give more. We just want to give.
And I can say, I've been out of school. I don't know how many years, a lot of years, but when you all were in the parade Saturday, it was a touching moment for me. And maybe since I got out of school, maybe that was the first time I felt some CSU pride, man.
Yes,
I felt good to know you guys were there.
Well, man, we were honored when you asked us. We're always ready to serve. If it's for a good cause, if it's going to give us the appropriate exposure, then you can call us and ask us to get involved in anything that you guys do here, because I've been doing my research too, and I see a lot of the work that you all do here through the radio station, through your own personal foundations and ventures, and I can honestly say you guys inspire us.
Yeah, and then we're going to collaborate. Like I said, we would love to have you down there on the 15th. And when I say great shows, you'll be blown away at the talent level that we have at these shows. Blown completely away. Well, I hate to say this, it'll be a little more organized than Black History Month.
Well, we were even honored to be in that, and we will be even more honored to participate on the 15th. I want all of you listeners out there, please, at this time, go to centralstateatlantaalumni.com, and you can see all of the things that we're doing. Skip, also, I want you to know that for the month of May, the Tom Joyner Foundation has chosen Central State University as the school of the month. So throughout the month of May, I'm going to charge you gentlemen with putting together a major event that the Alumni Association will collaborate with you. During the course of that month, we literally want to have an event all month. Every weekend, all month, everything is going to be about raising money for Central State University through the Tom Joyner Foundation. Skip, I also want you to know that the foundation, I was on a conference call with the young lady who heads up the Tom Joyner Foundation, and she has pledged all of their support, the foundation, and all of their websites, and all of the social media things that they have. So that's a lot of resources that we have behind us to promote and push Central State during the month of May, and we just hope that you guys jump on board and get involved with us.
And we're always looking to collaborate with people who are sincere about what they do. We've traveled the road. What are we doing, about 5 years now, man?
Yeah.
And we've ran into so many shady characters. I mean, it's unbelievable. Everybody has tried us. We try to do what we say, and we try to present the best show that we can possibly present. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all the way. We're not going to do it. So it would be an honor for us to do it with you. Just tell us what you want to do, and I think we have some of the resources to make it happen.
Yeah.
And we enjoy doing it. And most of the people that are collaborating with the Hot Seat Urban Media are genuine people also like yourself. So, hey, it's an honor. Let's make it happen. Let's do it big. Let's do it real big. Tell me the name, place, time, and the Hot Seat Urban Media will be there. Without question. Without question. We love it, man. We have such a great time at it. We deal with the youth ourselves. And we have some of the best kids with the best attitudes out there. That's probably a requirement to do anything with us. You got to be genuine. You got to be real. So, hey, that's an easy one. Give me a hard one, man. Give me something hard.
Absolutely, Skip. And the only thing I can tell you right now, Hope Norris, Kirk Norris, all of the people that I currently serve with, the people who nominated me to be president, I am so honored to serve with these people. Skip, when I tell you their passion is beyond reproach, and their love for the university and everything that they do, I can tell you I am simply honored to serve with them. and they inspire me in ways they don't even know.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that. Bam here, he has a few relatives that are relatively good in football, and I passed it on to Kirk to pass on to another player, another coach, and it wasn't a Central State coach, and his first thing was, I'm going to send these players to Central State. You know, he bypassed the direction I was going in. He said, that's for Central State.
Yeah.
And you know, that tells me the commitment.
Yes.
You know, because I would have, you know, my thing was to get them in school. It wasn't to get them to Central State, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
After he said it, it makes a lot of sense because these are top quality players, and they can only help the program. And when the program is successful, the school will follow.
The school will follow. And not only that, as you know, Central State has gotten its football program back, and right now they need quality talent. So for Kirk to say that don't surprise me none. He's a cutthroat for life, which is the football team that went to the national championship.
I went to the national championship. I went down there myself. I was there.
Yes, sir.
I was there.
And for him to say that doesn't surprise me at all. And that's right, Bam. Any of the connections that you have here in the greater Atlanta area for young men that is playing football, athletics of any nature, basketball, baseball, Central State has an awesome athletic program. And some of these kids, the reality is they can't go to Division I schools.
That's right.
So we want to make Central State readily available to them, for them to go there. And anything that the Atlanta Alumni Chapter can do, Bam, anywhere we need to be or appear, along with Urban Hot Seat, then we will show up and show out
Hot
as we
Seat
do.
Urban Media, man.
Yeah.
I'll get you straight.
Hot Seat Urban Media.
Well, he can vouch for you. We got one. We got one for you. It's just a matter of making it happen.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
You give me the details, give me that gentleman's information between me and Kirk and the rest of the people, Mark Harris and all of those guys that currently serve.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that he's taken to Central State, that he's also given a trip up there, and that his enrollment and everything goes as smoothly as it needs to go.
Right. And see, and the thing about that, people don't understand is when you get in those kind of programs and you have people like yourself and people like Kurt, they take care of you. They walk you through the system. And see, people get caught up in going to the Division I schools, and they get lost in the Division I school, and they get thrown out of the Division I school because nobody walked them through it.
Absolutely.
Nobody cared enough to take care of them. And that's the beauty of a HBCU, man. You know, it's almost going to be like your grandma being around because somebody going to talk to you. They ain't going to let you just act a fool around there.
You know, Skip, it's ironic you should say that because as we speak to kids throughout the metro Atlanta area at job fairs, that's that one intricate detail that we try and explain to them that you're not just going to school, you're going to a whole new family. And that's what Central State University is. When you walk on that yard, when you walk on that campus, you have now been adopted by a family of about 2,700 strong. People are going to look out for you.
Because you know what? I would have never graduated had I not had those people you're talking about. Because I was nowhere prepared for Central State. It was fun, it was women, it was everything but education for me. And some young brothers in my same class, you know, said, hey, you got to get it together. And they held me accountable. And they drove me out of Central State. Otherwise, I probably would have still been there today.
Yeah.
They drove me out. And that's the kind of love you need to be successful. That's the kind of love you need. And when I talk about Bam's cousin, nephew, they're going to take care of this kid. They're going to take care of this kid from start to finish.
Yes, sir.
And when he gets out of line, they're going to call you personally and tell you what you need to talk to your nephew.
Absolutely.
You know, he's on the verge of getting sent home. They're not going to send him home as the Division I school is going to do it. Wow. They're going to talk to you first and give you an opportunity to correct the situation. And then if you don't correct it, home he goes. You know?
And that's that love. That's that part of that saying where it takes a village to raise a child. I think if I had to use an example of that saying today, I would use it in the form of an HBCU. It takes a village to raise a child.
Well, you know. I can only say good things. Even though I'm poor, I can only say good things about Central State. I can't say nothing bad. Nothing bad at all. You know? I learned some things I probably didn't need to learn. I came from this. Are you from Ohio?
Yes, I am.
What part?
I'm from Elyria, Ohio.
Elyria. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm from Canton.
Yes, sir.
And
I have an office right now in Akron,
okay.
Ohio, on West Market Street.
I don't know too much about Akron. I didn't go up to Akron because I lived in the suburbs. But, unfortunately, I learned some good and some bad at State. But the relationships I established there were unbelievable.
Yeah, they're lifelong.
That's right.
They're lifelong.
So what's the school song?
Now, you might ask.
You don't know?
I have no clue. For Central, for something, for State.
Bam, you would have to put us on the spot.
Yeah,
please don't ask
for
us.
God, for Central, for State.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
For
right.
God, for Central, for State.
That's what's up.
So, in the month of May, what did you have in mind collaborating on? What did you want to do? What is your vision?
Well, I tell you, Skip, again, I've got to get to planning because I haven't exactly done a lot of planning, and I still got about 60 days to do it before that month comes into play. But I was thinking about different fundraisers, one being held right there at the Jazz Festival at the end of May. I was thinking of several night spots that we might have some events at. Also, Skip, I want to inform you that in 2015, the off-campus conference is going to be here in Atlanta, Georgia. So again, once again, Central State has to show up and show up big, and we'll start planning that here in the next 4 or 5 months. We'll get to planning that very seriously, and of course, we want Hot Seat Urban Media
Thank you.
to be a part of all of this that's coming up here over the next few months and right on into 2015 when the off-conference campus comes to the city of Atlanta, Georgia.
I can say I owe Central State that if nothing else. I can say that. Central State was good to me. Central State really helped shape me in a lot of ways. So, like I said, we do some pretty good planning ourselves, and we can put together a heck of an event, and you might want to follow us on this because, just quick thinking, I'm thinking about something in the park and hot dogs and hamburgers and music and love and all that,
Absolutely, Skip, because one of our biggest challenges in the Central State University Atlanta Alumni Chapter has been the attraction of younger people, if you will. So with Hot Seat Urban Media, that all might change, and that might very well be the venue and the mechanism that we need to attract these young folks. We have got to get these young folks involved in what the Alumni Association is doing, because that's a whole another demographic of folks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And like I said, we started out doing older people, and we found out how hard that was. And once we switched over to the younger people, life became easy here on the Hot Seat Urban Media. And make sure you Google the Hot Seat Urban Media. Check us out March 15th, West End Mall from 1 to 4. You can take a picture with the king. I always like to say that. You can take a picture with the king of urban media, the undisputed king of urban media, Tuck. And we're going to have at least 30 of the most amazing kid acts in the ATL.
How many pictures have you ever taken?
None. None. None that I know of.
Hey, well, at least they got the option.
Yeah, but they always had that option. They always had that option. And not only will they have that option, they'll have the option to speak with Stephen and the Central State alumni, and hopefully somebody wants to go to school. Hopefully we have some people out there listening that may be interested in a great opportunity where somebody will actually walk you through the system to get you where you need to go. And Stephen, and I talk about this, and I repeat myself on the show every week. Sometimes we, as African Americans, don't know the vehicle to ride to get where we're going. And we need somebody that will walk us through it. And I say this all the time, that we need to stop building parks and basketball courts in our community and put centers up that can actually help those get out of their situation. A place where they can come talk, to learn how to interview for a job. You know, if we don't know where to go, sometimes we just go in circles.
You're absolutely right, Skip. In our communities today, they've done away with a lot of the recreation centers, or as our politicians and community people like to say, it just doesn't fit in the budget. Well, again, us as graduates of the HBCUs from around the United States, again, we have to get together. And we can't wait on anybody to do anything for our community. We have to take the lead. And what I see right now in my short tenure and experience with Hot Seat Urban Media is that you folks are actively involved in the community. You're doing positive things. You're trying to uplift people. And again, at any point in time that Central State University Alumni Chapter can be a part of that, then we want to be there, whether it's March 15th, April 15th, May 15th, or every time you have something, we'd like to be there. We'd like to always set up a table and talk to our young African American brothers and sisters about matriculating or attending Central State University.
But like I said, we have to start with a place that they can go to get the resources, because they're not getting it at home, they're not getting it on the basketball court. Well, you know, unfortunately, we need some psychologists in our community to talk to these kids, to straighten out their heads, to change their thinking. There's you know, and I say this all the time, I think there's a lot of mental illness in our community. And that's the reason why we look the way we look. Because I say that when you say that kid is crazy, there may be some truth to that. When a kid does something extreme to me and it's abnormal, then there's something else going on in that kid's head.
And you can look at it like that kid is also reaching out and asking for help.
And attention.
He's asking for direction. A lot of times they don't know how to ask for things directly. So you have to be able to read all those little keys in those moments of anger, because a lot of times those are cries for help.
But that's where you need the psychologist. You need somebody that can read it. You know, I mean,
Is that a psychologist?
Yeah, you need a psychologist too, because these are extreme. This is extreme times now. You know, it used to be subtle. People did things on a small scale. Everything is on a huge scale.
Yeah.
It's mouth dropping every time when you hear one of the stories on the news. Unbelievable.
Well, we've got to, you know what, Skip, you know, when you and I were coming up, we had chores. We had to cut grass. We had to take the garbage out. We had to paint. We had to spring clean. We had to do all those things. Come on now, Tuck, you remember that?
I know it.
These kids nowadays, they sit back, these parents, they buy them $100 tennis shoes and buy them PlayStations, and these kids won't even take the trash out. You've got to teach these kids some responsibility, and I think you made mention of a word earlier, simply known as accountability. You have to have accountability. And a lot of our kids are missing that. Not only that, Skip, in most of our households when we were growing up, we had both our parents.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, there's so many demographics and so many things out there now that play a role in how these kids are the way they are. You got social media, you got the internet, you got cable and satellite television. So they're exposed to so much now.
Yeah, at an early age.
At an early age.
At an early age, because we were halfway innocent, you know.
How about some book reports? When school's out in the summertime, how about a book report?
You had to do it.
Oh, y'all did that?
You had to do it.
You had to do it.
You know, there's a quick story, Skip. One of my nephews wanted to come down and spend the summer with me. And I told him, I said, okay, well, you got a couple of book reports you have to do while you're here. Well, needless to say, he didn't come.
He didn't come. He didn't come. That was out. Didn't sound like fun.
Didn't sound like fun.
And that's what it's all about, fun. They got to have fun. If they're not having fun, then they don't want to do it. But, you know, let me say this, and I'm going to test how you feel about this. I say that every young black man doesn't necessarily need a father figure in his house. And when I say that, let me finish it. sometimes a bad example is better not to have than to have a bad example in the house. What's your thoughts?
Well, that's a subject that we could go on and on and on about. I think based on the natural order of things, I think that every child should have the opportunity to have a mother and a father in their house. Now, if the example the father is setting is not a good one, then that's something that would have to be revisited. But as far as the natural order of things, I think it is important that the young black men today have a father figure in their life, because don't get me wrong, single mothers, you do a great job. We love you. We appreciate you. But they have to have a father, because there's just some things the mother can't teach them.
You know, and
Or a father figure. Skip, now, again, let's just go back here. We got mentors out there, my brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We have mentors out there and programs out there that these young men can get into. So if you single mothers are listening to us today, please make sure that you reach out to these fraternal organizations, the Masonic organizations. All of these organizations have mentoring programs for young men without fathers in their life.
And there we go. Back to what I said. They need to know the resources. They need to know where they can find it. How? Okay, you just said it. How does one find your organization? If there's a single mother out there and she's looking for a mentor for her child, what's the first step?
The first place I would start at, if I was her, I'd start and check with my church. If you go to a church, if you're not going to a church, then check with your community center in your neighborhood. If you don't have one of those, then check with the many graduate chapters of fraternities and sororities that are in your community. I'm not sure what community you're in, but I'll guarantee you there is a fraternity or a sorority or a Masonic or some type of guild that's in your neighborhood that offers mentoring and counseling to young black men and women that may need it. But
No.
you have to be a seeker of this information as well, Skip. The resources are there, but you have to be a seeker of this information.
So I guess I wouldn't know where to begin in that, and that's the reason why I asked that question. So they would start with the church, and if they don't go to church, I mean.
And nowadays, I mean, you know, Skip, they didn't have the internet when we was coming up. So nowadays they can Google it. They can Google it.
But everybody don't have access to that. Everybody doesn't have the internet.
Go to the library.
Yeah.
Now, everybody ain't going to the library.
Well, then they don't want it then.
They don't want it. So,
yeah,
so they have to have something inside them
Yeah.
in order to make it happen.
Yeah, you can't. You can take a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it, right?
All right, man. This interview has been great, Steve, and we appreciate you coming out. Do you have any parting words? Because we're running out of time.
In parting, I'd like to say again to my young African American men and women, please, whatever you do, seek out the various HBCUs throughout the United States. In particular, seek out Central State University. We are hungry for students from Georgia to go up to Southern Ohio and attend Central State University, and we'll make some special amends for those people.
All right, man. You got anything to say?
I want to thank our guests for coming in today. The president of Central State Alumni Chapter, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for coming out, and hope to do more adventures with you in the future.
Yes, sir.